All right, everyone. Hello and welcome.
Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome. So this is our call on Unburdened. And in the course of this study, we have been exploring changing your state of consciousness from being dominantly, say, feeling that you are guilty to knowing and recognizing that you're divinely acquitted, or from feeling that you are ashamed to simply being bold. And without having apologies or without being apologetic about your own state of being. Of course, we've repeatedly learned that the solution to both situations or both states of mind of guilt and shame, the solution actually lies in seeing the vision of your future, acknowledging who you are, acknowledging who, what your state of being is, and dwelling in that. Okay, we've frequently explored that. So of course, part of the things we also mentioned is that you must recognize that you are God, that you are absolutely divine. You are not the state of consciousness that you are in. You are not the limits that you have been put through. You are not the person that everyone thinks or you think everyone thinks you are. You are God, expressing some state of consciousness today and able to express some other state of consciousness tomorrow. That said, what we want to look at tonight is freeing yourself from the state of worry. Well, I did a lot of it. So, and when I got out of that state, I experienced freedom again. So each of the states, when you get out of them, you actually experience freedom. As in the sense, as a matter of factly, you experience freedom. So when I got out of it, I definitely experienced freedom. It's also interesting for me to note, to you that the three of them were happening almost simultaneously. Okay. It's kind of like a triangle. So it's either you're on the side of the guilt or on the side of the shame or on the side of the worry, but trapped in the triangle. If you would let yourself free from all three, you would be unbounded, unburdened, as the title of this course is, but really unbounded in that you would soar above the skies. So the state of worrying is the state where you appear to want something good, positive, and powerful to happen in the future, but it's only an appearance. Because in fact, you believe it won't. And you simply occupy yourself with the action that could only come from believing it would. The action of wondering what to do to reverse that. I want you to please pay attention to this. You appear to want something amazing for the future, but you actually believe it won't happen because that's the only way you could occupy the worry, the state of worry. You could occupy wondering what to do to avert that it won't happen, which you actually believe it won't, but against the stance that you really want it to happen. It's twisted. It's a twisted kind of life to live, actually, but it gets lived. That's the point. It gets lived. So that's the state of worry. I'll repeat that description because I want you to really get it and change it, make the decision to change it, and live in this state where you appear to want something to happen, but it's only an appearance. You appear to want it. So anyone that sees you will say, "Oh, wow, you're doing your best to really want that thing to happen." And they'll say that precisely because you worry about it. But why do you worry about it? Even though you appear to want the good, amazing, positive thing to happen, you really believe it won't happen. You believe there is no way it's happening. You believe it can't happen, in fact, in the future. And you believe it's not happening so much that you concern yourself with the one thing you could do in the context of what you want to happen is not happening. The one thing you could do being worrying. So you concern yourself with it legitimately today. That's the state, worrying. You just get anxious about what am I gonna eat, what am I gonna drink, am I gonna live? Actually, you already believe that you're not gonna drink and eat, but you're wondering what to do to get out of that worry. It's funny, but I held that state myself, and then one day I kicked myself out of it. Well, you don't have to like kick yourself out of it by say force yourself out of the state. So I'm using that as I want you to picture the idea of just, kick a ball and it gets out of a hole. That's just the idea. Like just to, by movement of your awareness, shift from a state into another. So that's what I'm saying. You don't crawl out of it. You don't climb out of it. You don't walk out of it. Just move into a new state. So what does worry do? Well, worry occupies you in the present with anxiety about the future. And the future is going to come. You're not going to be dead. But worry makes it look like it's either that or death. That, in fact, right? Uh, there's no way it's gonna happen. And so death is like the only answer. It's not actually. Whether you consider that death to be like a literal thing or like a psychological thing of depression. So that's worry. And a lot of people worry about so many things in their lives. And it's funny because okay, well, everyone wants to eliminate worry. They kind of agree that the one thing that could get them through it is some sort of miracle. Okay. I want you to recognize that also. For everyone wants to get over worrying, kind of agree that the only thing that could get them through it or get them over it is some sort of miracle. Because it's like, oh, I've tried, I'm not able to do this thing by my own self on my own accord. But maybe some miracle, maybe something from out of this world. Maybe something that can happen independent of me that actually get me out of it because I've done everything I can, which is the appearance of trying to get a better future. But the belief is it's not there. So of course that produces the sense of worrying. I want the future. I don't believe it's there. I'm gonna get it. Oh, you're saying I shouldn't worry, but I don't believe it's there. Okay. You tell him not to be anxious, but what else am I gonna do? I've got to actually deal with this thing, right? Is there anyone else who could deal with it for me? Okay. Now, so it's sort of like, okay, there has to be a miracle that will happen. Something out of ordinary. Something not in my direct influence that would change this story for me. However, they also sort of like worry about what that miracle would be. When is it gonna happen? How's it gonna happen? Who's gonna make it happen? In what way? In what route? What can I do to be a part of that miracle or process or manifestation or something that would happen that has to happen for the worry to cease? It's throughout all of this is a person who is ignoring the fundamental miracle of their life. The fact that they exist. I feel that's why it makes sense when in the Bible, Jesus is made to say to the people, do not worry about your life, what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, what you're going to wear. Because even the pagans, that is the unbelievers, those who don't believe in the power of imagination, worry about these same things. Don't worry about it. Take no thought for your life, what you will eat, what you drink, what you wear. Do you know what he actually said is rather the alternative thing to do instead of worrying? He described it this way. Doesn't your father already know that you need all of these things? Well, he does know that you need all of it. So you'll find it in Matthew 6 from verse 25. I say to you, don't worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, not about your body, what you put on. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothing? Think about that for a moment. There's actually more for you to dream in life than to be worried about those things. So the fundamental miracle, before I get into the more that is in life, let me start with the fundamental miracle. So the fundamental miracle in life is this, that you exist. That is the one definitive proof that there is nothing in your life you've ever got to be worried about. Even if you want to be a billionaire and you don't see how it's possibly and it could be, or a trillionaire, actually don't have to worry anything about it. Even if you want to be happy, you want to be successful, you want to be blessed, you want to be prosperous, whatever you want to be, there is absolutely no reason in this world for you to be worried about it. And it's because of that statement, or because of this fundamental miracle that you exist, or put it in a more biological human sense, that you were born into this world. I don't know about you, maybe you did. But if you did, of course, indicate yes in the chat. I'd love to know. I mean, you could be more superhero than more Superman, superwoman than I am. But here's what I know. For my own self, I have no memory at all of me pushing when my mom was pushing to give birth to me. I have no memory of me pushing like mom was pushing. I go, okay, mom, you know what? I'm gonna support. Okay, this is time for you to push, push, mom, push. I'm gonna come up now, push. And then mom push, and I go, yeah, right. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. We can do this. We can do this, mom. We can do this. We've done it. We're almost there. We're almost there. And then she pushed some more, and then I went, yay, and finally out. Yeah, I had no memory of that. But maybe some of you here do. That would be really nice, though. Or, you see, I had no memory at all of when my dad would look at my mom and she was pregnant with me, and my dad would go, wow, were you pregnant now? What, how's he feeling right now? And mom would go, well, it kicked today, it kicked. Come and touch him. And my dad would maybe place his head. I did this, by the way, for my son. So, and this is really nice. I actually even dreamt that it was kicking. I dreamt it months before he did. So I knew that from the dream. I knew, oh my goodness, I had the experience before the mom. But she didn't know that. I told her the dream. But she didn't know. I actually had the experience of seeing him kick before you had it. Okay. Long before you had it. So when he started kicking, I went, yes, exactly what I imagined. And it actually happened exactly. The frame that I dreamt was the exact frame, everything in detail when it actually happened. The very first time, his kick was major, like, protruding out of the skin, or pushing out of the skin. Okay, but I had the memory of that with my own self, with back to my parents now. And when like dad said, "Oh, he's kicking," and oh, beautiful boy, oh, handsome boy, you're kicking so well. I love it. You're active. You're alive. You're bouncing. We can't wait for you to be here. Well, I don't remember any of that. I'm just making this up. Even I don't know if that's what they said. I really don't even know. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they weren't even talking. Maybe dad would always be out all day and would only come back in the night and just eat and sleep, or maybe even didn't eat, still slept. I had absolutely no idea. Of course, I saw how they They were with my siblings after me, and they were really loving together during in the phase of the pregnancy of each one. But I actually had no idea how to do in my own time. You know, I wasn't there. Well, yeah, I was there, actually, because I was in the womb, right? But I wasn't aware of the whole thing. But here's the point of that I'm coming to. What amount of worry on earth could I have done to actually make them give birth to me safely? If parents decided and said, oh, you know what, we shouldn't have this baby, and they went ahead and they aborted it. Actually, any amount of worry the baby could do to make it not happen, none at all. None. The point is, I'm alive. I'm here. I was born and I was raised. I mean, they didn't go one day and go, okay, you know what, let's throw him into the river. When I had not enough awareness of, okay, I could swim. Okay, now swim, swim down to the bank. When I had no idea of that. I'm just pointing out this fact. You didn't give birth to yourself as a human being. You didn't raise yourself in your childhood, especially in your infancy as a human being. You had no idea what you were gonna eat, what you were gonna drink. Even in the womb, it's much more amazing, spectacular, and experience. In the womb, it all gets done by this thing called the placenta, just coming the placenta through one cord, umbilical cord, right? Just coming all the way to the baby, and that's all. That's all it ever took. And I was formed from there. I mean, I right now who could jump, who's playing football, who's swimming, who's picking calls around the world. Who could imagine? Who was imagining and things are actually happening for me. Wait, I was just fed with an umbilical cord? Yes, I was. I was just in an I was just an embryo. I was just contained in a sac. They just had to check if the fluid around me was sufficient. Yes. And I had not a single say in all of that. And you know what? I also had no worry, and I was born. If that could happen, how much more now? How much more now that I could say, this is what I want in my destiny. Oh, I want to be a trillionaire. I want to buy this city. I want to have this old Adelere police. And you know what? Yeah, it's going to start from Atlantic City, but let me tell you what's going to happen. So the entire place is going to be Adelere police. It's going to cost around 50 to 100 billion dollars to actually do the project, the entire project, raise it as a city state. So a country on its own. But it's not going to be limited to that particular place. There are going to be some other ports. They're kind of like ports or cities like it around the world. And then they're going to extend into the firmament. So there's going to be a suspended city across over them, a suspended city, okay, over the Adelere police city. And they're all going to like floating cities, really floating cities. Yeah, floating cities. Yeah, we're going to have that. And they're also going to be Adelere Police. So we're going to have like Adelere Police, the capital. Then we're going to have the state one, state two, state three, state four, and they're going to be floating around different parts of the world. And it's going to be really amazing, amazing cities. But you know what? I don't have to worry about how to make that happen because that's the point of this chapter. It says, isn't life more than food? And the body more than clothing. The moment you reduce life to food and clothing, you start worrying. It's just because the vision of your future is narrow that you worry. I'm telling you that. And that's the second point I said I was going to come to. But remember the first thing, the greatest miracle in the world, the most important thing to ever happen to you in life is that you were born. Nothing else, even your death, isn't as important as that. Because if you were never born, there's no point to anything else. Nothing has happened, right? But the most important thing to ever happen to you in life is that you were born. Not even the promise would happen to you if you weren't born, if you weren't made human. Do you understand? It's just that one, that it's like zero. It's like the uh You're looking at the Cartesian plane, and there is zero. Everything else comes from that, right? But that zero is important because without it, nothing else comes. So it's the most important thing. And you didn't even have to do a single thing. You didn't have to do a single thing. I didn't push. Did you push? Like mom was pushing you, like, oh yeah, push, mom. Did you? I didn't push. You know what I did when I went to give it to me? Probably did anyway. I cried. Like, no, 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 no. You're not the one going through the pain. Your mom just went through so much pain. What are you crying for? Yeah, I cried. And you did too. You didn't do anything, but you still cried. Everything was done for you. Neville said, how on earth do you presume you could do a thing about yourself right now when your birth itself, you did nothing? But God, imagining himself being a human, actually did it all. Did it all. And you did nothing. So what makes you okay? Now you're human, and then you go, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take charge from here. I'm going to do everything. What do you want to do? What really do you want to do? Nothing. So stop worrying. Now, if you reduce the vision of your life into what am I going to eat tomorrow? What clothes am I gonna wear? Oh, I don't have the clothes. Oh, I don't have the food. The moment you reduce the vision of your life to that, you measure yourself by that status. And what happens as a consequence is you worry. Yeah, you're gonna worry. Because worrying actually applies to the things that are needed, not to the things that you want. You can't worry about the things that you want. You can dream, you can aspire, you can have faith, but you really can't worry about things that like dreams that you want to accomplish. Okay, I want to ask you this. Do you think it's possible on earth for me to be worried about having $5 trillion? Actually, I can't be worried about it. I really can't be worried about it. But can I worry about, oh my goodness, what we're going to eat tomorrow's morning? Yes, I can be worried about that. So, the Bible says, don't worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, not about your body, what you put on, which are the things everyone in this world is trying to secure. So that's why I said, let me see. After all these things, the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knows that you need all this. You're born. You didn't do a thing to make your birth happen. So I worry about anything there. Don't worry about it. So why do you worry about clothing? Why do you worry about food? Are you of not more value than the birds of the air? Well, if you're of more value. And the birds of the air never have to worry about food. They neither sow nor reap. Look at this point. They don't sow, they don't reap, they don't gather into bands like humans do, yet they are fed by the Father. They're fed by the imagination of birds continuing. You are the one actually feeding them. You didn't know it, did you? Did you know you're the one feeding the entire life? Because how many of you are? Yeah, it is actually. It is the same scripture. It says in verse 28 of it, Matthew 6:28. So why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Look at it. Yet you're of more value than all of this. So why are you worrying? But you're the reason they all subsistent. It's subsistent. It's substance. They have substance because of you, because of what you're imagining. Because you're still imagining being a dad tomorrow, being a mom tomorrow, being a husband tomorrow, being a wife tomorrow, being a brother tomorrow, being a friend tomorrow. Because you're still imagining being a citizen. Because you're imagining all of that. Because birds, if there were no birds in this world, like no birds in this world, would it be world? Absolutely not. So, but you're imagining that you are still present in this world, so they continue to be well fed, thanks to you. They don't even worry. So why do you worry? So what's the solution? Again, solution comes back to your vision of your life. Hold a grand vision of your life. The question, isn't your life worth more than this? Contemplate that for today. Just ask yourself, isn't my life more than the food, than the clothes? I will tell you this. I had worries about what to eat, what to drink, when I concentrated on, oh, I don't have the clothes, or I don't have the food. See, I've not eaten all day. And the way I actually got out of it was beginning to dream myself to be someone important, someone bigger, someone that is so powerful. But you see, today, I don't eat morning, noon, and night. I don't eat 3 meals a day. Not by design and not by condition. I can eat 3 meals a day if I want to. I just don't care to. I really don't care to. Okay. And it's not that circumstances forced it upon me. Sometimes I really do. I do anyway, but I don't care to eat it. I just, I eat to a point, I'm full. If I'm full, I'm full. Well, I can't eat more than that, right? I'm full. So I go on my day with my day until I want to eat again. I crave something. I go, okay, I would like to eat this. Anything I want to eat in this world, I can ask for it. It's going to be delivered to me. I took a friend down to my swimming coach, really. Came to one of my restaurants with me. When we got there, I placed the order for the food I like. I said, you know how I like it, right? He said, yeah, sure. You know how I like the turkey. He said, yeah, sure, we do. Okay, good. Then I asked him to place his order. And he said, well, the same thing I'd like to get, but if they could modify the meat in it. Then he tried to ask for a meat. They said, oh, we don't have that at the moment. Uh, no, oh, well, they had it some days back, but maybe it's finished anyway. And then he said, okay, well, maybe the thing that he asked for, you can do something like it. How are you gonna do it? And I said, he said, are they just gonna make it? I said, yeah, sure. So you can ask anything that you want. You can tell them any way you want it to be. They're just going to make it for you from scratch. So anyhow you want it to be, just ask it. They will make it. And he was stunned, like, oh, that's really nice. So yeah, I can have anything that I want in this world to eat. But I imagine myself not eating and drinking. No, I actually imagine myself important, great, doing amazing things, being a great, amazing person. That's what I imagined. The vision of my life was bigger than the food, than the clothing, and consequently, the results were bigger than those. Understand that, and you will have cracked the secret code of reality, so to say, of never worrying again for the rest of your life. Make yourself bigger than food and clothing and shelter. Make yourself bigger. That's the basic instinct for everything else in life except humans. Your life has more value than them. Why so? Because you have the ability to desire and to assume that you have the wish fulfilled already. They don't. So explore it. Okay, Doc. So I'll see you all tomorrow. And until then, bye bye.